Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Aditi Didi, for this wonderful introduction.
Thanks.
And welcome to all the esteemed panelists and seniors who are here. So today I'd like to discuss in a case of phaco in a case of runaway rhexis. So always our rhexis do not go as planned. In many cases of intumescent or hypermature cataracts, we have cases of in which the rhexis runs away. So in these cases, if the conditions permit, can we not convert this to ascites and it can be continue with the phaco? So that is what I would like to discuss in this video. This is one of the first cases which I had encountered. After that, over the period of like 3-4 years, I've encountered 2 such more cases. So here, this cataract, it was a very hypermature intumescent cataract, where first I stained the capsule for a good period of time with glue. And then I would like to, I always try to do a 2-step rhexis in cases of intumescent cataracts. So first you like to do a small rhexis, debulk the lens matter, take out some cortical matter with irrigation aspiration. And then I try to do a second stage rhexis because that becomes much more controlled as the intralenticular pressure goes down. So our rhexis is much more controlled. Here I'm doing the first smaller rhexis. So the smaller rhexis could be fairly controlled, and here we have a small sized rhexis. So after doing irrigation aspiration to take out some of the cortical matter, we make a small snip in the anterior capsule, and with the help of rhexis forceps, we try to complete the rhexis. Now, in this case, I'll just show what my mistake was. While completing the rhexis, it is in cases of beginner surgeons, it is good to we tend to re-grab the flap repeatedly, but I would advise is to continue with your flap as much as you can to complete the rhexis. Do not leave and re-grab repeatedly. Here in this situation, what the mistake I did was I did not complete the rhexis and I left it there. And there we can see here at this moment, the rhexis has gone away. The margin is no longer here and the rhexis has gone away. So it is all a lost situation right now. The rhexis has already run out. So after trying also, I could not retrieve the rhexis. So now what can I do? I just trim away the tag of the rhexis that I had. Now I try to make a new nick here so that I can complete the rhexis somehow, leaving a weaker end on the other side. So here I would like to fold the tag on itself, and by a gentle pull towards the center, I could complete the rhexis, but we have a weaker dehiscence here. The rhexis has already gone away. So in this case, I make some relaxing incisions, puncture marks, exactly opposite to the direction of where my rhexis has run out, because I want to do a phaco in this case, and I don't want the traction to fully go on that side. I reduce the bottle height to about 50% of what I normally use, and I keep my parameters low. I will try not to manipulate much. In this case, I also try to charge less amount of phaco. I'll try to feed in the nuclear pieces to my phaco tip. I have edited and I have bits of parts to make the video smaller. So here I remove the portions of the nucleus. I try to feed the nucleus in my phaco probe, charging as much less ultrasound as possible and keeping the fluid pressure low. So like this, we can see that we have almost removed 80% of our nuclear material. And in this case, one of the main thing is that we have to be very patient. Patience is the key. So if we are patient, now we can see that we have successfully removed the lens.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sorry to interrupt you, but we have limited time for each presentation. So I request you to please wind it up.
Yeah. So as we see in this presentation, we can do a phaco in a case where rhexis has run away. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Somil sir.
So very good presentation, very good video, Dr. Shivashish. And I
Thank you,
must
sir.
congratulate you for completing the case quite well. A few points which I would just like to make out here is one is how do we prevent runaway excess? And the second is what to do in case if we do have a runaway excess, right? So in your case, you prefer that you make a smaller excess first and then you debulk the anterior cortex and then you carry on making a nick and a second rexus. So what that is one way of going about it, of course. But what I prefer is using a good high molecular weight visco OVDs, and then with the pressure of the OVDs, the high molecular weight, like I have no financial interest, but Helon GV Helon would work very well out here. And having sort of compressed the or equalized the intralenticular and external forces, the rexus can be completed quite well. So this is what my preferred option is, not to make two rexes, but just to complete it in one go itself. Second, I would just humbly disagree with what you said is that you should go and extend the rexes as much as possible. I am of the old school that I would release and re-grasp the rexes at multiple points for the exact same reason that I want a very controlled rexes in this situation. I don't want even a slightest amount of extension. So what I would do is just hold the rexes, extend it to my controlled manner, release it, regrasp it, propagate it forward, release, regrasp, propagate forward. I don't want to go more than 1 or 2 clock hours at a time. That will ensure that the control is there at all times. If necessary, please refill the anterior chamber with OVDs at appropriate time periods. Third is about when you do have a situation of a runaway rexus, you have placed relaxing incision at multiple points. My approach would be slightly different, and I have seen that relaxing incisions themselves, they tend to run away sometimes. And you have now a 2-point runaway rather than only 1 point. So you're having a more of a headache. So what I would generally do is I would assess first whether the rexus has gone right up to the posterior pole, or it's just round about the equator. And having ascertained, having my phaco probe put inside the anterior chamber and being confident that the rexus has not gone away posteriorly, I would, as you rightly said, lower down the parameters of aspiration flow rate, of vacuum, of the bottle height. See that you have a slow motion phaco, have a controlled manner. There should not be any fluctuations in the anterior chamber itself, and complete the endonucleus removal. After endonucleus removal, it's very important not to remove the phaco probe as you have done, but I would definitely put in OVDs on the side port in order to stabilize the anterior chamber before removing the phaco probe. So that's very important because sudden debulking of the anterior chamber the rexus can extend posterior. So these are my points from the video which you just showed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kamal, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you
why we
so much
have this
for.
session to learn from the best in their field. Thank you so much. May I now request our chairperson, Parvez, sir, to add on to this topic? Parvez, are you there?
Yes. First of all, I will congratulate Dr. Shivashish Das for wonderful presentation. Actually, what I will do in such cases, I will try to just fill up the anterior chamber with OVDs, and I especially use visco. So in such situations, I will put some visco, and if there is any pressure over the eyeball by speculum or whatever it is, I will try to loosen it. I will calm down, and after that, I do a rexis with capsulotome. So with the capsulotome, I think I will be able to manage this case. But if not, what Dr. Shivashish Das did, uh, with low parameters, the phaco can be completed. And if at all, I have experience whether I'll be able to do phaco in such cases. If the situation arises, I will simply convert to SICS because that is one situation in which such problems can be easily sorted out. but Dr. Sivasi's did very well, and I think he did wonderful surgery.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
a lot. Thank you, Shivashri. Thank you, Somil, sir. Thank you.